Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bianca and if you are new here, I make sewing and DIY videos, so if you are interested in seeing more of those, make sure you stick around by subscribing to this channel. Today I'm trying to recreate this jacket that I saw on Pinterest. It is a combination of denim and flannel and it is very oversized. If I'm not mistaken, this is a statement look for Hailey Baldwin, so for her it is just a regular jacket, but for me it is very oversized. I won't be making mine as big as hers is. I think it doesn't really suit my frame. I'm 163 centimeters, so that's about 5 feet 4, I believe. Although my sister is about the same height as I am and she can pull off any oversized look, but I guess she's just cooler than me. And the other reason I won't be making my jacket as oversized as hers is because I don't have a jacket that fits me like that one does, but I'm still aiming for an oversized look, but not that exaggerated. So to make this jacket you will need a denim jacket that you no longer wear, or even better, one that your uncle, father, brother no longer wears. So one from the men's section. You can even thrift a denim jacket. I think it's not that complicated. And you will also need 2 flannel shirts from the men's section as well. Mine are all thrifted since I didn't have anything to work with at home, and I actually thrifted them online since all of the thrift stores were closed last week. And I think I was pretty lucky to find all 3 items sold by the same seller, and that means that I only had to pay shipping once. I got them from the app or the website called Kleiderkreisel here in Germany. It is, I believe, like Poshmark is. Maybe that sounds more familiar to you. So here are the items that I've thrifted. First of all, I got this denim jacket. It is a men's size small. I think a medium would fit even better, but I guess you can't have everything. And I also got 2 flannel shirts. One of them is this white, black and blue one. And the other one is a black checkered flannel shirt. Okay, let's get to it.
So as I've said, you'll need a denim jacket and 2 flannel shirts for this DIY. You will also need some fabric scissors, some pins, a measuring tape and a pencil. First I've tried on my jacket and made a mark where I wanted to cut it. This was at about 6 centimeters below the pockets. Then you'll need to mark where you want to cut the sleeves. I made a mark right under the elbow. Now lay your jacket flat on the table and draw a straight line across where you want to cut your jacket. Make sure you add about 2 centimeters seam allowance. Then cut straight across through both layers of your jacket. I've cut mine just above the 4th button. And this is the cropped jacket. Now you'll have to cut the sleeves as well. First measure the distance from the shoulder to the mark you drew earlier and make a mark on the other sleeve at the same distance as well. This is just to make sure that your sleeves will be the same length. Now you can go ahead and crop the sleeves as well. I'm first using a pencil and a ruler to draw a straight line to make it easier for me to cut a straight line across. Place your first flannel shirt on a flat surface and make sure the sleeves are nice and neat. You can iron them if they are too crinkly. Then use the same measurement as earlier, but this time add a couple of centimeters or inches to the bottom part of the sleeve. I'm going to take advantage of this shirt's pattern and cut right across this white line. Now you can measure again to cut off the other sleeve, or you can just use the first one to place it on top and make a mark. Next up, you can cut off the cuffs of your sleeves. There's usually a fold in the fabric right where the cuffs meets the sleeve. So I'm going to pin it in place before cutting off the cuff. Make sure you have about 1/2 centimeter seam allowance, so don't cut right on the original seam. Now you're going to do the same thing to the other flannel shirt. I wasn't sure which sleeves and which cuffs I wanted to use at the end for my jacket, so I ended up having 4 sleeves and 4 cuffs. But if you already know what patterns you want to use and how you want to combine them, you will obviously need just 2 sleeves and 2 cuffs. Now to cut off the bottom of the shirts, I've just placed my denim jacket on top and made a mark at about 2 centimeters above where my jacket ends. This will ensure that I have enough seam allowance. Now you can go ahead and cut a straight line Just make sure you don't cut through a button of your shirt. Use the first piece you cut off as a stencil for your other shirt and cut straight across. Now I'm unbuttoning the shirts and placing them side by side just to get an idea of how they will look together and to see if I have to move the buttons so the shirt can close up. In my case, the last two buttons were misplaced, so I will have to undo the seam and sew the buttons in the right place. But for now I'm going to use some pins to hold everything together. For the next step, you will need to make sure that the side seams of your shirt line up with the side seams of your jacket. Then place your shirt piece facing down on top of your jacket and start pinning it all the way around. Having at least one button open will make this whole part easier. Before your shirts meet up at the back, make sure you have determined the middle of the back of your jacket. Make a mark and cut off the excess fabric from your shirts, making sure you have at least half a centimeter seam allowance. Now pin the shirts together at the back and you will first need to sew them together and then attach the shirt to the denim jacket. So there is a more professional method to attach those shirts together at the back, and that is to undo the side seams of your shirts, determine the middle of the back of both shirts and sew them together in the middle, then reattach the back to the sides of the shirt. This way you can alternate the patterns and have the front of the jacket mirrored in the back, if that makes sense. Now it's time to decide which sleeves and which cuffs you are going to use. I will be going for the black sleeves with the white cuffs on both sleeves of the jacket. First I'm going to attach the cuffs to the sleeves. Turn your cuff inside out and place the bottom of your sleeve inside. And sew it using a straight stitch. If you happen to have more fabric than needed, so if your sleeve is wider than your cuff, you can just fold the extra fabric of your sleeve right where the cuff has its original fold. This way your sleeve will have the same circumference as your cuff. Make sure you sew it right over the original seam. Then zigzag stitch the edge of the fabric to make sure it doesn't come undone. Before attaching the sleeves to the jacket, I'm trying them on one last time, just to make sure they are not too long on me, since I left some seam allowance on both pieces. And as you can see here, I did have some extra fabric to cut off. And now that your sleeves have the right length, you can go ahead and attach them to your denim jacket. Turn them over as you did when you attached the cuffs to the sleeve and pin both pieces in place, right sides facing each other. Repeat for the other sleeve and then you can go ahead and sew everything using a straight stitch. The last step is to move the buttons of your shirt if needed. I simply made a mark where I needed to sew on the buttons, since I wanted to use the original buttonholes from the white shirt. Then I've gone ahead and used a seam ripper to undo the stitches and simply sewn the buttons back on in the right place. And this is the finished look. I think it looks really cool. I really like it and I hope you do too. I will be definitely wearing this during the summer. If you do recreate any of my DIYs, make sure you DM me or tag me on Instagram. I really like to see your creations and share them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did, and I'll see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.